All right. Hey, Dr. Dixon, Chris Henderson with our last speech, Yahoo. Shout out to you. Thank you for the class. I learned a couple things, so you did your job. And I appreciate all your help with the emails back and forth. So last speech, note cards real quick, whole bunch of information. Not really a eulogy, but a remembrance of a person that's passed away. Local character, which you'll find out here in a second, and then we'll do the audience introduction.
Hi, I'm Dee.
Hi, I'm Sue.
I'm Rosa.
Shanice.
Billy.
Like a snake, the James River slithers past the town of Scottsville, Virginia. There have been numerous times when that aquatic serpent has nearly devoured the town. Always a threat, the town's existence of Scottsville desperately needed a savior. Luckily for this town, a single man with a single purpose has reached a single goal of ensuring that the town of Scottsville, Virginia exists to this day from the destructive flooding power of the James River. Today we're here to remember a man of committed, legendary accomplishments. A man whose love for his community of Scottsville was so deep that he dedicated his life to save it. That man is Arthur Raymond Thacker. Born in the fall of 1909 in Stuart Strat, Virginia, as he liked to be called, Raymond, as he liked to be called, moved to Scottsville at the age of 2 in 1911. His father accepted a job at the Scottsville flour mill, seen then as a quote-unquote state-of-the-art steam-powered mill, according to Raymond. Even at a young age, Raymond devoted his career to taking care of Scottsville in mind. By the time he was 20 years old, Raymond received his college degree in mortuary science, and by 1933, had opened the Thacker Brothers Funeral Home in Scottsville, taking care of the most intimate of life's challenges, laying to rest the deceased members of the Scottsville community. With his brother, he also ran an ambulance service for the Scottsville community, and by 1936, Raymond helped to establish the volunteer fire and rescue departments for the town that continue to run to this day. Now, some people would have felt satisfied that they accomplished a lot in their life with these examples of community accomplishments, but Raymond was just getting started. By the early 1950s, Raymond's list of accomplishments grew much longer. He established or co-founded the Scottsville Cemetery Association, Scottsville Chamber of Commerce, and brought in a chapter of the Lions Club. He also became a member of the Scottsville Town Council and secured a last-minute deal to create a rubber factory with the federal government, thus helping to create an economic windfall for the town. In 1949, he left the town council because, as he described, quote-unquote, it was full of old men accomplishing nothing. However, it would be less than a decade later, Raymond would rejoin the town council to do battle with that aquatic serpent, the James River, not only for the health and safety of the citizens of Scottsville, but for the survival of the actual town itself. In 1958, Raymond started and eventually won his first victory regarding water issues that plagued the town of Scottsville. At the time, the whole town was experiencing a health crisis that needed immediate attention. As water wells in Scottsville were inadequate to produce the necessary amount of the precious resource to supply the town, they used the most obvious choice, by pumping water from the James River. For decades, the town was reliant on chemically treating that river water with high levels of chlorine and other chemicals. It was for this reason alone that Raymond decided to return to a seat on town council, and within a couple years, accomplished what others could not. Raymond was able to coordinate the installation of a modern public works utility water and sewer system for the entire town of Scottsville. However, it was the troublesome late 1960s and into the early 1970s that gave Raymond his greatest challenge regarding the slithering James River destructive power that nearly wiped the town of Scottsville off the map. Unknown at the time, but in 1966, Raymond Thacker was about to solidify his legacy that from there on out would be forever linked to his actions. He was elected the mayor of the town of Scottsville and chaired that position for close to 31 years. Just 3 years into his term in 1969, a devastating hurricane brought floodwaters that almost destroyed the business district of Scottsville. However, 3 years later, in a repeat performance, another hurricane struck the town and again wiped out the business district. With almost all the businesses in Scottsville fed up with the continued risk of flooding and economic ruin, the reality of Scottsville turning into a ghost town was indeed happening. Many business owners declared that they wanted to move to higher ground, but higher ground meant moving into Albemarle County, and thus eliminating a huge tax base for the town, meaning basically the town would cease to exist. It was at this moment that Ramon refused to accept defeat. He rolled up his sleeves and committed a one-man crusade of saving his town. By reaching out to powerful politicians and business owners across the state of Virginia, he was able to lock in not only Richmond, but Washington, D.C. as well, and secured all the funding for the Army Corps of Engineers to build a levee that would stop that destructive serpentine, the James River. Since the levee's completion in 1988, the town of Scottsville has faced numerous attempts by the mighty James River trying to conquer its defenses, but the town has not flooded since. Ramon Thacker was able to save the town he loved so much, whereas other river towns along the James River have disappeared. Sadly, it was Ramon's time to go, and he left our world on February 21st, 2016, at the ripe old age of 106. Some would joke that the decades of running a funeral home and being around the chemicals used to embalm the many citizens of Scottsville attributed to Ramon's longevity of life, while others said it was his love of the town and the citizens of Scottsville that helped move him to a long golden life. So today, we say goodbye to A. Ramon Thacker, a man that spent almost a century being a savior and a one-man crusade who shaped the development and cemented the legacy of the town of Scottsville, Virginia for many more generations to come. Thank you.